Hello everyone, so in this video I'm going to be doing a Blender tutorial. I want to start out and give some quick credit here to both of these YouTubers here. Watch these videos on your own. I am going to go over all of these steps. In this guy's video, he has a link. In his link, he has a player rig. You will need to go and download that rig. So in Blender, first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete the cube. Always going to do that first. We are going to do File and then Append. And then we're going to go down to, it was Ragon. Double click this. I'm using a classic skin, so I'm going to double click this, Collection, and then Player. And if we click this, we can see we're working with a Steve skin. I do not want to use a Steve skin. I want to use my own skin. You probably want to do the same thing. So you can select this here, and then you can change the texture here. Sometimes this doesn't work. If it doesn't work, you want to click the clock icon and then shader editor. And then from there, it'll make this menu pop up sometimes. Sometimes you need to click it and then make the selection, and then it will appear. It's just a weird thing that can sometimes be just a little bit glitchy, and I don't know why. But when you're in this menu, we want to change this to open image, and then my file was on desktop. It's this. So there we go. We have our player. Great. We're using Mixamo at this point. Mixamo, you need to have a T-pose character. If not, it's going to be weird. I know it's going to mess this up because of everything being connected. So it's just easier that we deal with this. Compose mode. Root bones? Yes. Okay. So here we can just select a different bone. And we want rotate. Oh, that was not what I wanted. There we go. This is what we want. Okay, so there we go. We have a T-pose character. We will have to add something later. We could just actually do Control Z and then we don't have to, I suppose. So we want to export this. We are going to hit File, Export FBX, and then we need to change path mode to copy, and then click this box here, embed textures. Otherwise, none of this will work. And I'm just going to leave it as untitled, and I'll put it on desktop. Then export. So now I have untitled over here. Great. We're going to go to Mixamo. And we're going to do upload, select file. I'm picking untitled, open. Now you will notice that this is glitchy. Like, it is blurry, it does not look good, and this is why we need this character. So we're going to do Silly Dance. This is the animation I'm picking. And we're just going to change energy level a little bit. We can change overdrive. It just kind of makes the character move a little bit more. Arm space. And you can change this however you like. Pick any animation you want. Download. Make sure you have width skinned. All this is good. Just keep the defaults, I think. And then do download. I've done this before, so I have Silly Dancing 1. Okay, now in Blender, I'm just going to hit undo. We're going to undo the T-pose and go back to our default view here. Because when you move this around, you do kind of have some clipping issues going on. We don't want that. So now we're going to do File, import FBX, and then downloads, and it's Silly Dance 1 in this case, and then import. So now we have the blurry animation that does not look good. And we also have, you can see in the scene here, camera 0.001 and light 0.001. We're just going to delete these. We don't need two cameras and two lights. It's just going to be confusing. Select the clock and then shader editor at this stage. And then here I can select this. And then I should be able to do this and then skin. Yes, there we go. That works. There's probably another way to do this in the settings. I just don't know how. So now we have the normal skin on top of this model instead of the weird glitched out one. And we can delete the original one, but for the sake of this, we're just going to hide it so we don't see it. And it's also not going to be... Oh, wait. We're going to hide what's this Minecraft player. We're going to hide this and hide here. So it does not show in the render, but we still have it saved. This is what we're actually working with at this point. And if we click this circle and then click timeline and hit play, we have an animation. And then it keeps on going. We don't want that. So we make it end on 108. Great. Now, we're not done. This will rely on having Premiere, by the way. Unless there's another way to do this. We want to put this into Premiere. We don't want this background. And we need a green background. So we could just chroma key it. You might think, oh, just go here and change the color. No, do not do this. I'll show you what happens if you do it. And then I'll just hit undo after I do it. It makes the character green. Like, they will adopt, like, the lighting properties of the greenness. So we don't want that. That's a problem. So we need to fix this. We go over to shading, this tab. We need to select object and then world, and then zoom in so we can see this better. Okay. We need to add 3 objects. We need background. This is going to be where we input our actual color at. We need a light path. So we need to have this, and we need to have mix shader. Now, we're going to take world output here, and we're going to drag it a little bit more here, because this has to be in between them. We want mix shader in between the first background and world output. We want is camera ray to connect to FAC. Here we're going to pick our green color. And this is going to connect to shader. Now if we go to layout, we can see our character is no longer being affected by the lighting. I'll go back here just for a second if you need to see this again. So light path, camera ray connects to here in our mix shader. Background connects to shader under mix shader. This is what you need to not have the lighting issue. Okay. So, well, now we're mostly done. We just have 2 more quick things to do before we can be done with Blender. We need to get our pose right. Let's, move around, get a good looking pose, zoom out a little bit more than you think. And we want the camera to be here. We need to do view, line view, and then align active camera to view. That looks kind of good. It's good enough because we're going to end up moving this around. So it doesn't matter. Now we need to move this light source because it's not really going to do anything this far away. I'm just trying to line it up so it's right above the camera. Now we're going to test to see, hey, does this look good? And we're just going to render an image. That doesn't look good. Okay, that also doesn't look good, but we also don't need it. Okay, there we go. So it's the second layer. I don't know why that happened. I think it's because I don't have anything on the second layer that it then kind of added a weird shadowy thing. Not entirely sure, but if you do have something on your second layer, I'm sure it would look better than what that looked like. So let's try again. Let's do render image. Yeah, that looks better. So now we want to render this as an animation, but we have a few things we need to change here because the settings aren't right. So of course they're not. And we're changing PNG to FFmpeg. And we need to go to encoding and change this to MPEG-4. And I'm changing output quality to high quality. Then we're almost done here. We do render and then we do render animation. And just sit and wait. It will sometimes flicker, and I don't know entirely why. Okay, so it finished. And if I minimize everything, yes, here we go. We have our green screen Blender video right here. Great. We're gonna go into Premiere. We're gonna take this, go Premiere, and we're gonna drag this over here. Now, I want to do a couple things. Just first off, we can basically end this here. Color key, effects, dropper. We almost got it. We're gonna increase this as long as my character's eyes don't turn black. Yep, there we go. And edge then to that level, sure. Now you can just, at this point, like you can do whatever you want. You can add any image, background, do whatever you want. Does not matter. I'm gonna show you like what I'm gonna do for this. I feel like having your own video in Minecraft would probably look better than what I'm doing. I'm just using an image for the sake of this. So I grabbed my Minecraft image here and I'm adding it to the background. This is where it gets a little bit annoying. I need to change the background without changing this. So here's what we're going to do to make this easier. We need to drag this over and drag this to here. That way the image doesn't last like a minute longer than our video. I'm going to drag the video off of this. That way I can then just do what I want here. And now I'm going to drag this back over. So now we have our animation on our background image. Great. What bugs me here is that we don't have a shadow. We had one earlier when we were in Mixamo, but we just, don't have it anymore. Maybe there's a way in Blender to keep that, but I have no idea. So we're just going to add a shadow. That's what we're going to do. We're going to right click. We're going to click copy. We're going to go over here. We're going to hit paste. We're going to just move this up. Go over here. And drag this here. Now, we're going to go to brightness and contrast. Drag that over here. Lower brightness all the way and increase contrast all the way. And lower opacity to, I had it, yeah, 50%. Sure, that looks good. We also need a blur. We need Gaussian blur. That looks good. And again, if I just, we also need to switch the order of these. Because the shadow's currently on top of our character. We don't want that. Let me switch the order of this. Yeah, it still looks a little bit weird because the shadow's just directly behind our character. So we're gonna just do this. I'm gonna get a transform filter. We're just gonna skew it. Yeah, that looks better. But now the problem is like, hey, there's some good shaders in that background, and my character doesn't look like he has those properties to any extent whatsoever. Let's just add like some lighting effects. And I'm just changing these values to whatever I think looks good. That looks like it blends pretty well. I don't like the gap there. Not a fan of that. But I'm not actually making these animations by hand, so I mean, there's that. So I don't know. I feel like I can't really criticize it too much. And I'm just gonna export this. Okay, so this is our finished video that we have. Great. Perfect. We have a finished Minecraft animation. So yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching. Bye.